Hello, 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 my friends. It's your friend Kevin. Today's Wednesday, the 14th of June, 2023. This is your card of the day. All right, my friends. So we're using Angel Wisdom Tarot by Radley Valentine, images by Dan Craig. And we have our card of the week, the Chariot, number 7, with Archangel Metatron. This card is about determination, self-control, career advancement, and acknowledgement of success. We see Metatron riding the chariot without reins and all of this magical energy around him. The black and the white unicorn pulling the chariot, which by the way has Metatron's cube or the macabre right there on the front. This is balancing out opposing forces. It's still being determined, it's still moving forward, but it's also being very careful to look at all sides. And if something is knocking you out of balance and something's knocking you off course, you have to look at where it's knocking you out of balance, where it's knocking you off course, and keep going forward. It's a bit like multitasking with your intelligence, your emotions, and keeping things moving. Now, this is take 2 of this reading because I was shuffling, I pulled a card and then the dogs went off the wall. So I had to stop the video and start again. But I like this card for a couple of reasons. We see the Knight of Water. And this card really represents the feeling of being in love with love, frivolity, passion. It's also emotional distraction. If somebody's entered your life in a romantic way, or if something, a passion, an interest has come up in your life that has taken you off course or moved you sort of out of your regular intention and your pathway, which is what Metatron's doing, stay on the course. But this card is definitely a distraction. The heart wants what the heart wants, particularly if we are, as all of us are on this channel, emotional beings that can be drawn into those feelings of love, sensuality, sexuality. I think as I have gone on this spiritual journey, it feels as if, there aren't much judgments going on. It's a lifting of the vibration. And of course, if the feeling is loving and kind and caring and giving and beautiful, and you want everything in the garden to be blooming and bright and cheerful, this is what we strive for. We are waking up to the purpose of life, which is to be harmonious and happy and joyful. With that said, when opportunities of physical love show up, particularly if you're single and you're longing and you're yearning, the heart tends to get distracted and moved over. You can also be the one who happens to be the subject of somebody else's affections too. It isn't wrong. Let me put an underlining over there. It isn't wrong. However, look at any pattern that may be arising out of your need, your passion, the obsession, the understanding of what this means. There is nothing wrong with being passionate, being flirtatious, or having an intimate relationship, or even having a sexual fantasy. The card and the message for today is be okay with that, but keep balance and harmony in what you're doing. Many, many, many times when hearts are yearning for something, there's a feeling or a thought that perhaps something might be missing. This is an image of a young, good-looking, passionate young man holding a chalice that is splashing all over the place. The horse is just galloping forward, going ahead. The waterfall is going, so our emotions are really high and it feels good. And listen, get into that. However, make sure that both feet In this case, the horse has 2 feet up in the air and 2 feet on the ground. Make sure that your feet are firmly planted, that your heart may be fluttering. Allow your emotions to just flow like that. Let it come in, let it go out. The tendency is, if we get too caught up in the emotions of things, too caught up in the idea of romance, too caught up in the distractions that it offers, that we get blown off course. It's also the big crashing crescendo of flirtation, the what ifs, the fantasy is speaking to us. Then there's a pattern. We can get caught up in this pattern sometimes. And then, if you are somebody who is in love with the idea of being in love, once that purpose has been served, it's time to move on. So have a look at your own patterns when it comes to these feelings. Don't deny them. Stay with them. It's very difficult to get a handle on when we're supposed to, pay attention. This might be a habit, because we don't really want to push these emotions away or upset or hurt somebody else, particularly if you've geared yourself up for this big, romance novel kind of relationship, and it just isn't all that in a bag of chips. I hear that a lot from clients who, perhaps are doing on the dating scene, and all this business of swiping left and swiping right, and maybe this is the one, and let's see what happens. That's fabulous and wonderful and giddy, but when the expectation isn't where the fantasy was, the reality isn't where the fantasy was, that's what I want to say, it tends to be a little bit, ooh, whoops-a-daisy. Now, I would say use all that passion, use all that fun, use all that frivolity, get into the mood of it, the mode of it. Be careful that you're not getting caught up in something and deliberately being distracted away from your intention. You've also, many times with matters of the heart, we are in this big transitional phase, as one of my good friends reminded me yesterday. Everybody's world is turning, churning, topsy-turvy, and the somewhat conscious energy isn't in a stable, fun place. We are, being taken down this bumpy road. It's a good thing if you're in tune with your intuition. It's a good thing if you're in tune with what's really going on. It's a good thing if you do a daily journal. It's fantastic if you are counting blessings, if you're holding on to what you know is good in your life, what you know is lifting you up, what you know for sure that you can do to make your day better, how you are grounding, how you are having this pull you down from the clouds, which is what I think this card is about, is you're lifting off the ground, looking for something that lifts you off the ground, distracts you from the mundane. Counting your blessings, meditating, getting clear. This is not discounting the feeling of love and the feeling of beauty and the feeling of joy and happiness and harmony with other people. It is making sure that there's a balance, and also looking at when this may have happened before and got tipped over. It's like a little nudge from spirit world saying, pay attention to what's real, be grateful for the experiences you're having, but also be mindful. Is this something that you're fantasizing about or hoping will happen and turn out without really thinking about, let's just go with the flow. Let's stay on course with Metatron. Let's balance out. I feel great about what's happening, but let's not go running off at the bit and, falling over before we've really got stable with things. I don't think there's anything wrong if you've just met somebody new and you are having those wonderful feelings. Nothing wrong with that. I also feel like it's a good time if you are the person who perhaps is the object of somebody else's affections and you're not really sure how you feel, to just look at how they're feeling and how you could possibly be disappointing somebody else if they're further forward than you are. I think this is just a little nudge from your spirit guides and your angels to say, watch your distractions. Watch the, you know how, say, watch the bouncing ball. Watch that fun thing. It's fun to have fun, but then sort of come down to reality, you know, come down to, okay, it's all right to say, I'm going to push pause on this for a bit, or let's move forward and get a little more, what am I looking for? Dimension into this situation. Have fun with it, enjoy it, but also don't lose sight of where you're going and what your intentions are. You know, sometimes these distractions are a way of keeping us off the path, out of doing the work, out of perhaps what we really need to know about ourselves. I hope that makes sense. All right, until tomorrow, thanks for liking, subscribing, sharing, and lots of love.